So we're at this public exhibition about the massive tunnel that's going to be built through the Stonehenge landscape.
Most people think it's pretty extravagant to spend £3 billion. It'll be £250,000 per metre.
Hey Megalithomaniacs, how you doing? We're here at Salisbury Town Hall because there's an exhibition here about promoting the idea of this tunnel that's going to burrow under the Stonehenge landscape and, in my opinion, desecrate it. So we're going to have a look inside. We're meeting Kate Freeman, who's from Stonehenge Alliance, and we're going to talk to one of the archaeologists from Wessex Archaeology who are doing the initial excavations and who will be funded to actually go ahead with this tunnel. Now we must remember, this is going to cost billions of pounds of taxpayers' money. This is what is going to be wasted on this, in my opinion. So let's get in there and have a look. Let's talk to some people, see if we can come to any conclusions about what is best, to go with the tunnel or just to leave the road as it is. I actually think it's quite funny that the main poster they have here is this one here. This is like the entrance to the exhibition. And this is actually the view that's going to vanish. So all these years, decades, going way back, this routeway through ancient Britain is going to vanish, and no one is going to be able to salute the National Temple when they head down to the West Country. There's a kind of public exhibition about the tunnel they're going to build under Stonehenge. I'm here with Kate Freeman, who's part of the Stonehenge Alliance and trying to protect the landscape. And we've got a couple of things we're going to talk about with Kate. We're going to have a look inside the exhibition. We're going to try and speak to some of the people, but they're kind of pretty much stuck in their ways. They really want this to happen. And so it's going to be just this crazy time for the next 5, 10, 15 years. And it could cost up to 3 billion, although they say it's 1.7 billion or possibly 1.9 billion, but it's going to increase. It's going to increase. And so there's a lot of reasons why this really shouldn't be happening.
Okay, so I just want to explain why we're here. National Highways have got a public information event. It's called consultation out there, but it isn't a consultation. We've had that. That's past history. The thing is that the information on their boards have got a lot of omissions and errors that we thought needed correcting. So what we've done is we've listed the top ones that we feel are most important. They haven't mentioned anything about UNESCO. That is a big omission. They've told me physically that they're engaged with them. Well, who knows what that actually means. But they will withdraw the World Heritage Site status is the threat if the road scheme goes ahead. They've gone to the first stage, which is saying it'll be on the endanger list. They haven't made any mention of the fact that we're going to, we're applying to go to the Court of Appeal, which may delay things. There may be lots of delays. It may be successful, it may not be successful. There's no mention of the up-to-date costs. Even the MP has asked questions in Parliament, and we still don't know what the up-to-date costs are. So this is our best guess, based on the inflation rates that National Highways have provided, and it's at least 3 billion. We also were very concerned that it talks about restoring tranquility to the Stonehenge setting. Well, here you can see this green bit here is where the tunnel will be, and that green bit means it's quieter than it is now. Fine. Where you've got this is all within the construction zone, this shape. The yellow stands for no difference, where people can wander around now anyway. Where you've got the blue, and the darker the blue, the noisier it is, it'll be much noisier than it is today. And it's next to the cutting here. This cutting here is noisy. Over here where the avenue, you can cross the road, you would be able to cross, but it'll be very noisy here. The wildlife that we have, this wonderful corridor by this SAC, as it's called. It's an area of conservation. You've got a lot of wildlife. It's so rich. You don't need to enhance the biodiversity. It's already enhanced. So this is only partially correct. This idea of reuniting the north and south parts of the site allowing visitors to enjoy the whole landscape, that implies that there's a freedom to roam. Well, all of this area here is owned by private landowners, farmers. This is all, the green part is National Trust land, which you can already go anyway. And true, crossing is a problem, but they could do an underpass for pedestrians. Here, on the strategic level, on the corridor, it suggests that this is going to help the regional economy, and that can't be true. How do you improve the regional economy by increasing the speed of getting across this 12-kilometre bit by improving it by 8 minutes? Because you haven't improved all these bits here. There are 8 different schemes that have been identified along the corridor. They won't have money for that. The National Audit Office said they wouldn't be good value. So you've got 2 schemes here that have got money. This one that did have money has been withdrawn for being too difficult. This one's already delayed. This one is most complicated. The delay will be for years. Then here we have this business of enhancing biodiversity, moving freely. Well, this chap, Gertrude, is to the north, has moved from one side to the other. They get all over the place. These people want to be left, the stone curlew want to be left in peace. So really, and the mammals get across there as well. They don't need a green bridge. They already get across. So the road itself isn't about improving things. They're trying to mitigate what it is that they're doing. You've got the archaeology there. Why do you have to dig a road in order to find the archaeology? So it's that sort of thing that we were very keen to make sure that people understood.
Kate has asked me what it's like actually living next to the A303 at the moment, because people are saying, especially the people who want this tunnel, are kind of claiming that, all these campaigners, they don't live next to Stonehenge, they don't live in the area. Well, I do. I live directly in the area. I live right next to the A303. I've got mounds, the New King mounds right next to my home. I actually sit out in my garden facing the A303 regularly, and the traffic's always flowing, it's always moving. It might slow down a little bit, but the reason it's slowing down is because people, for now, have an opportunity to actually wave and salute the National Temple of Britain, Stonehenge. And that is going to disappear as well. We're never going to be able to see Stonehenge by just driving to the West Country again. It's going to go. You're going to have to pay a lot of money to English Heritage to go in. I guarantee the prices are going to double, possibly triple, once they get the kind of monopoly on this particular area. But living there and having to pull out of my driveway or pull back in regularly, and also, we do a lot of walking around the area, I can say up front, and from a personal experience of living in this house for the last 8 years, that it isn't a problem. The traffic does seem to keep moving, and it's just that people are slowing down a little bit. So adding this huge tunnel, multi-lane tunnel, I guarantee will increase traffic, and it's been proven that it will increase pollution in this area as well.
This is a World Heritage Site for good reason. It's a stupendous archaeological site. Not just the stones, but the landscape itself. And this area here is a unique area of Bronze Age settlement. You can't see very much. It's all about the humps and the bumps and the shapes of the land. But right in the middle of a World Heritage Site, this cutting will be the size of 14 football pitches. It's vast. It'll be so deep that it'll be deeper than the tallest stone of Stonehenge, number 56. And the examiners, the independent examiners, when they saw this, they said that this will be the largest interference in the landscape for thousands of years. And therefore, they did not recommend that the Secretary of State should go ahead and give it its approval. They recommended against the scheme. But nevertheless, the Secretary of State has gone ahead. Most people think it's pretty extravagant to spend £3 billion on 12 kilometres of road. It's a local road scheme. That's extraordinarily extravagant. So we're suggesting that they write to their MP or parliamentary candidate. And here's a suggested letter explaining that it'll be £250,000 per metre. So if they would like to write to their MP, we've listed the local candidates for Salisbury and East Wiltshire, but we can find others if they need some help.
Right. So we have Andrew Manning here from Wessex Archaeology. But do you not believe that it's dangerous tunnelling through a huge archaeological site, which is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site?
People have been trying to come up with a solution for this, going back at least from the late 60s into the 70s. There have been schemes which have been reasonably robust and formed from the early 90s, and we're still in the position that the issue hasn't been solved.
Which issue?
The issue with traffic.
Okay, do you live on the A303?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I'm local to
So
Salisbury.
yeah, I live on the A303. I live actually at Custodian Cottages.
Yeah.
And and so to me, I don't see any problem.
To me, travelling, I mean, I use the A303 quite a lot.
So do I.
To go through to sites and things like that.
Yeah, okay, and what do you feel about spending, was it 1.9 billion on a tunnel?
At the end of the day,
I guess you're getting a bunch of that.
yeah, archaeologists don't do it, it's expensive, you need a lot of people to do it. So some of that budget is definitely going towards the archaeology. You'd expect it, because at the end of the day, the government has to make a decision about improving its infrastructure. That's a decision they make. We don't have any say in that. We elect them to make those decisions for us. It goes through a planning system that's accepted. As part of that planning system, the different archaeological heritage groups have been able to have their say, whether they're for or against it, and the reasons for it. And you're quite right that, any scheme that you come up with, like any planning application in Wiltshire, a very rich, archaeologically rich county, huge numbers of planning applications need archaeological work. That happen every day without comment, and that is done. My view with this is, yes, there's no doubt it's a lot of money, but again, part of the reason is to try and safeguard as much as possible the archaeology, to reduce to an absolute minimum the impact for this road improvement. And if the tunnel is the one option that in the last 30 years is that a lot of the heritage groups, actually many of them previously were against it, agree with, because they can see that a huge effort has been made to reduce it. It doesn't reduce it entirely. There is archaeology there, and that archaeology will need to be excavated before it starts.
So with UNESCO World Heritage status is under threat because they're threatening to remove the status from Stonehenge if the tunnel goes ahead. What do you think about that?
Well, again, that's their job. That's what they do. They manage the World Heritage sites, and they will comment on it. I know there's been, some discussions. They want, things they want it removed from the World Heritage Site. The problem is that is not being looked at, and it's not possible.
So this is actually a book about Amesbury and about being continually occupied for 10,000 years, and everyone involved in this tunnel seems to think it's okay to burrow and destroy everything here. Blickmead's going to be under threat, Stonehenge, the mounds, and the whole sacred landscape. And there's archaeology here which hasn't even been properly done yet. Now they claim they're going to do loads of archaeology here before they kind of go ahead and desecrate the landscape, but it's still going to cause damage. And we're going to work out what else the money could be used for, which Britain needs now. I mean, we've got people kind of becoming homeless. We've got the NHS are being partly defunded. People now have to pay for ambulances, for emergencies. You've got a real struggle with the NHS in general. Schools are losing money. There's funding disappearing from really important projects. And they want to spend billions on a pointless tunnel. And so please sign the petition, please support Stonehenge Alliance, and this is what we're trying to protect. So we had a fascinating chat with Kate Freeman and with the archaeologists. I got a few little insights from some of the kind of builders there as well, but for now, in my opinion, it makes no sense to spend potentially 1.9 to 3 billion with inflation and delays on a tunnel that really isn't required. I mean, I live on the A303, so I know it's not that bad. But anyway, thanks for watching Megalithomaniacs. I hope you enjoyed our expose of what's going on with the tunnel from the exhibition here. Now do check out Stonehenge Alliance on their website, it's all linked below, and the brilliant work they're doing. And so thanks for watching Megalithomaniacs. Let's protect our Stonehenge landscape, and we'll see you next time.